Tonight on a special edition of PolitiCat.
We cover the Russian invasion into Ukraine.
From Northwestern's campus.
I went on for almost 48 hours with just 2 hours of sleep because I was constantly monitoring the news.
Chicago's Ukrainian village.
Horrifying to be here while they have to spend the night in basements, hiding from missile attacks. That's terrifying.
And Washington, D.C.
Seen severe sanctions put against Russian elites and large banks, as well as a large outpouring of humanitarian aid.
Plus, we discuss the invasion live tonight in a panel with former U.S. Ambassador to Georgia, Ian Kelly, and Northwestern political science professor, Karen Alter.
Those stories and more tonight on PolitiCat.
It's your politics
right now.
Kicking things off tonight is PolitiCat's Jonas Blum. He will break down for us who the top candidates are, as well as their chances of advancing in this election.
9 candidates, an almost certain runoff, and a politically threatened incumbent. Let's break down who's leading tonight's mayoral race. First, the incumbent. Mayor Lori Lightfoot was elected in a runoff in 2019, succeeding now U.S. Ambassador to Japan, Rahm Emanuel. At the time of her election, she enjoyed an all-time high approval rating around 70%, according to Victory Research. Despite this initial high, her approval rating dropped in the summer of 2021 and is now sitting at about 30%.
Now, we want to check in with our reporters who went to polling sites in Chicago today. Angela joins us. Angela, what more are you hearing from the voters?
Here at the Willie B. White Park Polling Center, many issues spoke to voters this election. One of the biggest, public safety and crime.
Public safety is a big one here in this neighborhood. We have a school right here. I live maybe a block away from the school. Within the past 3 months, I done had under a teen get shot in the head right here. A couple of people shot and killed around the corner. So we trying to make a difference there is a big issue for me.
Austin was one of 3 voters we spoke to today regarding the concern of citizens in Chicago. Back to you at the studio.
Really good information. Thank you, Angela, for all of your work.
And Northwestern Multicultural Student Affairs is kicking off Black History Month with a series of events including art making and community gatherings. This year's theme, Streaming Blackness, Now and Forever, celebrates Black diaspora's past and present and centers love, care, and creativity this month and beyond.
It's around seeing the vision, right? It's around unity. It's around working towards building a sense of cohesiveness among kind of the Black student population at Northwestern more broadly.
Now, throughout the MSA and the Office of Religious and Spiritual Life are going to be hosting a weekly reading series engaging with Tricia Hersey's book, Rest is Resistance. Every Friday at 3 p.m. they seek to create a space for people to simply take a moment and rest from all the deadlines and expectations imposed by society, reminding everyone that, quote, you are worthy of rest. Evanston residents in recent city board meetings have been voicing their concerns about their favorite establishments closing. Jeremy Fredericks is here with us in the studio to talk about the economic situation of the city of Evanston, as well as talk about a brand new program that's set to aid Evanston businesses. How are you, Jeremy?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. So Jeremy, tell me, what does the data presented at the city meeting say about businesses in the city of Evanston?
So in the last half of 2022, there was a net gain of 28 businesses. 30 new ones were added and just 2 closed. In January, only 3 businesses were added. That's compared to the 8 that we saw in January of 2022. Businesses also closed down last month, including the Flat Top Grill, Smiley Brothers, and the Decalash Salon. Fundraisers also occurred for a couple of businesses.
At nearly 2 years old, Riley Pacala's smile can light up any room. Riley, who was born deaf, has cochlear implants and is learning American Sign Language. Each day, finding new ways to express herself with a joy her family is so fond of. That's why her uncle, Brian Reagan, and his fiancée, Jamie Kehoe, knew she'd be the perfect flower girl for their wedding in New Jersey earlier this month.
We love her. She's just really special to us.
I promise to always be by your side.
With the ceremony underway, what happened next shocked everyone. See that man in the middle? That's Randy Latini, the bride's brother-in-law, officiating the service.
That learn and families that grow together.
He had secretly learned sign language, practicing for weeks to communicate the couple's vows so that everyone, especially little Riley, would feel included.
What were some of those phrases or words that you learned specifically for this ceremony?
That they will find themselves surrounded by family that adapts and families that learn together and grow together.
For Riley's mom, Christina, that act of love was overwhelming.
Tell me how it was when you first realized that Randy was actually signing the ceremony.
It was an awesome moment. It was just a really special moment for our family. I just felt so grateful, so happy.
So it's with tremendous.
One man making a difference and setting an example about inclusion this family will never forget.
Husband and wife, you may kiss the bride.
Randy, what's the bigger message?
It's become a much bigger message about the little things we can do in our everyday lives to make people feel welcome and seen and heard.
And Randy says it's been such a positive experience that he and his wife have decided to continue sign language classes, and he's helping teach his kids some words too.
Ngaqala ngina 16 ngaqala nge-Mendrex kuqala nensango bese kuba isikhathi ke ngazongena kunyawo Bethlehem lento ne-rock umama nobaba ubaba bekuyiphoyisa into njalo uyathubuleka nalakalakhi bamshanga nanibhuleti yabona ngapha izinto eziningi zezayenzakala yabona so ngazithola sengibhema ama-drugs nani yabona makaye sengibonile ukuthi akusi option ukubhema ama-drugs noma ngingavelwa inkinga ezingakanani nani so ngingadecide ukuthi hayi ngicela usizo ngizele rehab. Jaja abantu ababhemayo omunye umuntu bakabheka ukubona kahle ukuthi unyawo uphela ufeli pop nani bona njani ngiyazi basiphisa kanjani.
And we realized that 12% of key populations that we interview don't even access services anywhere because they've given up based on the type of experiences that we receive.
Our social demographics, it's mixed, and then we've got your key populations, we've got your male sexual workers, we've got your female sexual workers, and then we've got our drug users. They want to go to rehab. We didn't want to segregate them because now when you'll be writing here that okay, here this is a key population or gay and lesbian consulting group, people will be labeled.
They used to have that thing of, did you see? Who is she? So after the training, they treat everybody and everyone as normal. Then with the respect and with the dignity, and we say they must not take a final decision. They must ask a person.
Uthi ngithi ngizogcwalisa le form le medical certificate baya bangithumela lana ngoba vele yindawo engakwazi ukunginceda ukuthi ngisubmithe le nto lezi ngoba namanje mangiceda ukusubmitha ngoba nginazi affidavit kumele ngisubmitha la e-police station social worker lami akwazi ukusubmitha social affidavit yase-Bosberg ngikwazi ukuhamba yayo niyanceda ngale ndawo.
But the thing about sensitization training is you can't receive a 1 day or a 1 week training and then you're all changed. And if someone is homophobic, if someone is transphobic,
we do have males and females bathrooms. So, but in our training, I understood they must have their own bathroom, and it must be labeled. So the infrastructure, it doesn't allow us to some of the things.
It is a step in the right direction, but there's still a lot of things that are still missing. Like I said, the issues around only having one center of excellence in a district, with districts being so large. The issue around no transport arrangement of or transport cost being able to be covered for KPs to be able to attend those center of excellence, they're still there.
And the challenge that we are also having, the issue of lubricants. It used to come in the box for the condoms, but now I don't know what's the challenge.
It's like now we are actually starting to go deep and during history taking to identify who you are, what are the problems, so that it's now beginning to happen after the training.
So that everybody must be accommodated. Like we are a free country, you know? Yes. I think somehow education, and we must start somewhere.
Mina ngithemba ukuthi masengiyeka sengibuya le rehab futhi izinto zami zongihambela kahle nempilo yami izoshintsha nabantu babona ukuthi ngishintshile maybe nabanye nami ngakwazi ukubanceda njengomntwana wasekhaya la unenkinga efana neyami nami ngakwazi ukunceda nabanye so ngibona kahle impilo yami izoshintsha ngoba lokho ngisabhema kanje ayikho into ezongilungela empilweni kahle ukukhuluma amaqinisweni mara once ngayeka ngingaba right ilami ngibona kahle ukuthi izoshintsha for the best kahle kahle.
There's a man we'd like you to meet. His name is Moody.
What you're going to do is open the door on the oyster, all right?
Both literally
all right, here you go.
And metaphorically.
Sushi.
Moody's mission, if you will, is to bring oysters back to the streets of New York.
These are amazing.
We didn't have hot dogs back in the days. People were selling oysters.
True fact. Moody explains that more than a century ago, oyster carts were omnipresent in the city. One of the most prominent oyster purveyors was a black man named Thomas Downing, famous for his downtown oyster house.
That was the culture that built America, was black people on the water doing maritime work.
New York Harbor and connecting estuaries were the most abundant oyster habitat in the world. Pollution, industrial and human, put a stop to that. Today, a group called the Billion Oyster Project is restoring oyster reefs in New York Harbor. The remarkable bivalves filter 50 gallons of water a day, which helps the harbor clean up its act. And Moody is happy to be part of that mission, all the while bringing oysters back to the boroughs, on the streets of Brooklyn, and on weekends, Governor's Island, serving mollusks to the masses.
I think it pretty represents like New York summer, so
it's a nice treat.
Moody adorns his oysters with the perfect garnish.
Granny Smith apple.
And during our visit, we ate more than a few.
I'm sorry. I gotta have some more oysters.
Let's go.
Right? Harry Smith, NBC News, Brooklyn.